Welcome everybody here to y.W.c Predictions as we get ready for the final pay-per-view until the well actually no, this is the
Final
pay-per-view for
pay-per-view before WrestleMania.
no, this is the pay-per-view for the biggest show of them all. This is the main event. This is Fastlane, baby. Anyway,
Goodness gracious.
but it's the last pay-per-view until we get to WrestleMania, so this is basically what's going to set up all of the great feuds like Asuka versus Mandy Rose. Anyway, introducing the people that are going to be giving you their live picks here for this one. We got Kyle Mathews.
Hi.
We have Michael Norman.
Yo,
We have Kev Shearer.
I'd like to take this opportunity to say
no,
fuck.
shut up.
I was gonna say fuck cancer, okay? Fuck you.
Indeed.
This just in, Michael is cancer. Anyway,
Oh God. Ooh.
Jesus.
well, I mean,
Wow.
he said F to cancer and then he said F to you, so I just kind of naturally put the two together, I guess. I don't know. Kev's words, not mine. And then we've also got
Damn
Matt
it.
McIntyre.
Hello.
Ironically enough, no Trent this time.
Okay, we just gave Trent a moment of silence. Anyway,
Yeah, we did. We did.
so I was told, no, I was ordered that this time I had to have the championship lineups put together for the pay-per-view, so I have done so.
Who ordered
You're
you?
welcome. You're welcome.
Some
Since when do you take orders from Kev of all people? Come on.
no, it wasn't Kev. It was obviously it was Cancer that ordered me to do it.
Hey, it wasn't an order. It was a friendly reminder.
A
There's
friendly
difference.
reminder.
I mean,
It was a
since when
friend.
do we care? Since when do we care about what Kev wants? I mean, come on.
Well, I mean,
That's true.
Boy.
I cared one time, and it was the time that I didn't care about caring.
Wow.
Anyway,
So harsh.
so for the matchups we've got for the World Championship, Ryan George puts the title on the line against Steve Rada, Kyle Mathews, and Tim Fiegel. Kyle has a
Wait,
bonus
isn't it-
point. Are you going to keep interrupting me, or are you going to let me do my thing? Thank you.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Shut up, Kev.
So Kyle has a bonus point coming into this one. For the Intercontinental Championship, we've got Levi McIntire putting the belt on the line against Kev Shearer, who has a bonus point coming into this. Matt McIntyre and James Shelly. For the Cruiserweight Championship, I'm putting the belt on the line against Preston Plourd, Trent Dunham, and Dillon Young. And for the X Division Championship, we've got Clint Spilman, who has a bonus point going into this pay-per-view, putting his belt on the line against Stephen Pollard III, Michael Norman, and Chris Dollerton. There are people that have given their picks prior to this. I'm not going to bother to say what their picks were. You can look down in the description below and be able to see it. We've got some other
Lazy.
people that said that they're going to also be giving their picks post this recording, so you'll be able to check in the description and be able to see that as well. Michael, you have access to my channel. You can go and edit it if you want to.
I mean, I do. I can hack your channel fairly easily.
You can indeed. Alright, so let's move into the predictions here. First off, we have the Kickoff show match. It's another encounter between Rey Mysterio and Andrade Cien Almas. I don't care they call him Andrade.
Andrade.
Hey, at least I didn't call him Muhammad Ali.
Ooh.
I don't know how I feel about this being on the Kickoff show. I mean, hopefully they're going to give it a lot of time, with it being maybe the only match on the Kickoff show, but we'll see. But let's just go right down the list. Kyle, who you got?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna say Andrade Cien Almas, but I'm not real confident in that pick. I don't know. This is just I don't want to say a random thrown together match, but it kind of is for the pre-show. So I don't know.
Okay, Michael.
I'm gonna go with Rey Mysterio.
Alrighty. I'm also going to go with Rey Mysterio because if I remember correctly, I think Andrade's got a pinfall victory over Mysterio. The other matchup they had ended up ending in a DQ because Samoa Joe got involved. So I think they're going to have a rubber match at WrestleMania, so I think Mysterio is going to win this matchup, so they'll be 1-1 going into WrestleMania. Kev, who you got?
Honestly, I'm just gonna flip a coin here. Heads, so I'm gonna go with Andrade.
Okay, and if Kev loses a championship, he's going to blame it on U.S. currency. Matt, who you got?
Yep, damn you, George Washington.
Okay. Aside from that, I'm gonna go with Ray.
Alrighty. Moving on to the next matchup, we've got the Raw Tag Team Championships on the line. The Revival putting the belts up against the NXT call-ups Aleister Black and Ricochet, and the former champions Chad Gable and Bobby Roode. Kyle, who you got?
I'm gonna say the Revival, just because you look at the NXT call-ups, they're going back and forth on both shows, which is kind of annoying to me, and they really haven't picked a brand yet for Aleister Black and Ricochet, so I don't see them getting it right away. And I don't see them putting the belts back on Bobby Roode and Chad Gable right now, so I'm gonna say the Revival retain.
Okay, Michael?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with Ricochet and Aleister Black.
Okay. I'm agreeing with Kyle. I'm going with the Revival. The reason being, Aleister Black and Ricochet kind of took over Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano's spots on SmackDown because apparently the matchup against the Bar was supposed to be Ciampa and Gargano, but Ciampa's having neck surgery now. It looks like they're building a feud where we're going to have Ricochet, Aleister Black, and the Hardy Boys versus Rusev, Nakamura, and the Bar at some point. And with that being said, I don't think that it makes sense for them to have the title belts going on to SmackDown, having that feud. So I'm going with the Revival to retain. And I think it's going to be Roode and Gable, one of them, eating the pin, so that way Ricochet and Aleister Black still look strong. Kev, who you got?
Seth, I'm calling the police for stealing the words right out of my mouth. It's gonna be Revival pinning.
Everybody
Yeah, I
feels
think
everything around here.
I think it's gonna-
Don't feel special.
Shut it, Michael. I think
You
it's
shut
gonna
up,
be...
bitch.
No, you. I think it's gonna be Revival pinning Roode and Gable, and all.
But now, why do you think that, Kev?
Like
Because
I
I'm a
User
genius.
was moved out of your channel.
Okay.
User was moved to your channel.
Like I said.
So Kev chooses that because I'm a genius and everybody chooses what I choose. Anyway, Matt, who you got?
Kev, you're not the WWE, okay? Stop stealing y.W.c ideas.
Who you?
I'm actually gonna go out on a limb and pick Black and Ricochet. I think WWE's been making them look pretty good lately, so
Not to mention they're part
Okay.
of the Dusty Rhodes Classic on NXT.
Oh, yeah, that's right, aren't they? Oh.
Which now would explain why they were paired up on the main roster.
The thing I don't understand is though they posted a video where it looked like Ricochet and Aleister Black were saying goodbye to the NXT universe. I don't get it. Anyway, next
It's kind of what they do.
Yeah.
NXT. It'll probably air sometime later this month.
Next we move on to a matchup, and I'm going to put this out there right now, Kev. We are not counting down 3, 2, 1 and saying it at the same time. SmackDown Women's Championship match
boo you.
between Asuka and Mandy Rose. Kyle, who we got?
I'm gonna say Asuka. I don't see any reason to take the belt off of her right now.
Michael?
Asuka. As much as I love Mandy Rose, they're not going to give her the belt. No way, no how.
At least not right now. I could see her getting it in the future, but not.
I don't know. I could see it too, but maybe I feel like they're gonna have somebody else be the women's champion before her, and I hope to freaking Jesus it's not gonna be Charlotte.
Here's the issue I'm finding. I'm going to go with Asuka as well, but I'm not seeing any really good candidates to go up against Asuka for a match at WrestleMania to make it look like it would be a really good matchup because Charlotte, Becky Lynch, they're involved with Ronda Rousey, so there's really no viable number one contender out there. So
Maybe it's gonna be like a multi-woman match or something.
it's going to be Lacey Evans.
Lacey Evans. Jesus Christ.
Okay, Kev, who you got?
Asuka.
And
Yes.
Matt.
No explanation needed.
see, I'm with some of the crazy decisions Vince has been making lately on the main roster. I'm actually gonna go Mandy, just Because Vince is doing some weird things, and I don't know what's going on in his head.
Okay.
You know what? I like your logic there.
It is very good logic. And it would set up, well, I don't know. It's SmackDown, and Shane McMahon said no automatic rematches, even though he called an automatic rematch for them and the Usos. I don't know. Anyway, moving on, we've got the Women's Tag Team Championship matchup. Sasha Banks and Bayley, the Boston Hug Connection, putting the belts on the line against Nia Jax and Tamina. Kyle, who you got?
I'm gonna say Sasha Banks and Bayley. They just got them here just a few weeks ago. Really haven't done a whole lot since then. So, and I just don't think they're gonna take them off.
Haven't done a whole lot since then. That's putting it mildly. They haven't done anything except show up in NXT.
They've had a couple one-on-one matches. Like this past week, it was Sasha actually putting Tamina over, which I did not see coming, and then
I agree. That's very surprising to see.
I think the week before was I think Sasha beat Nia Jax. So.
Bayley did.
Oh, Bayley did. That's right.
Sasha twice in a row.
Okay, Michael, who you got?
I'm gonna go with Banks and Bayley.
Okay. I'm also going with Sasha Banks and Bayley. Kev.
I'm gonna go bold. I'm gonna say Nia and Tamina.
I want Nia and Tamina, honestly.
I'm just gonna go bold based off of past history that Sasha can't have successful title defenses. So I'm going bold. So.
All right, Matt.
I kind of see that, but then again, with as much as they hyped these titles up, to have the champions lose it on the very next pay-per-view, right after it gets debuted, I don't see that happening, so I'm going to go Boss and Bayley as well.
Okay. Next up, we've got SmackDown Tag Team Championships, the Usos versus The Miz and Shane McMahon. Kyle, who you got?
This is going to be an interesting match because this show takes place in Cleveland. The Miz is from Cleveland, and they said his dad is going to be in attendance, so it's going to be kind of fun. But I see the Usos retaining here, and this is either going to lead to some sort of implosion between the Miz and Shane McMahon if the rumors are true, and those two are going to have a WrestleMania match.
All right, Michael.
The implosion's either going to happen this Sunday or this coming Tuesday.
I agree. It's going to be Usos retaining, and I think Shane McMahon is going to be the one to turn heel.
That was going to be my question after we made our picks of who, if there is a heel turn, who was going to be, The Miz or Shane. I'm actually on the exact same wavelength as you, Michael. I think it's going to be Shane McMahon who does the heel turn on The Miz, because I think with The Miz's father being there, that means that Miz is going to be the face in the matchup going into WrestleMania. But yeah, the Usos are definitely retaining. Kev.
This kind of pisses me off back at the Elimination Chamber, because I had the Usos winning, and then because one of them got arrested, I had assumed, hell, no way they're going to win the tag titles now. And then, go figure, one of them gets arrested, and then they get rewarded for it. So, yeah, this just kind of pisses me off back at the Elimination Chamber.
And the one that got arrested is the one that scored the fall.
That's true.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with the Usos.
All
and
right.
this time I ain't changing it.
Are you sure about that?
Positive.
Okay. Matt.
I also think Usos with a Shane heel turn. He hasn't been heel in a while, so I think it's time for Shane.
Okie doke. Next up, we've got the reunited Shield, Ambrose, Reigns, and Rollins versus, I don't have a clue what this team is even called. It's Baron Corbin, Drew McIntyre, and Bobby Lashley. Kyle.
Isn't it like the
BDB? It's called BDB.
Well, I will be in attendance for Fastlane this Sunday, and I am excited to see a Shield reunion for probably the only time I'll ever get to witness a Shield in action together, so that's going to be cool. As much as I'd like to see the Shield go over here, I honestly think Ambrose is gonna turn on him and cost him the match. So I'm gonna say the heels go over.
Interesting. Okay, Michael.
I'm gonna go with Shield. I'll be with it. I'll be the Shield.
Okay. I mean, I get where Kyle's coming from. That's a possibility that Ambrose could end up costing the Shield and everything. But I think if they were going to have that, they wouldn't have even had the Shield reunite. Rollins is going to go his own way at WrestleMania.
I thought there was a rumor going around that Roman was going to be a special guest referee in that match.
I've been hearing that, but there's really nothing to back that up.
Well, not yet. Don't forget, we still got a couple of weeks till WrestleMania, so you never know what could happen.
But I think
This is true.
I think if there's going to be the possible heel turn of Miz or Shane, I think that they're not going to have like a second heel turn on the same night. So I'm going with the Shield to get a feel-good win and then possibly like break them up the following night on Raw or something.
Yeah, I agree. One-time thing, and then Dean Ambrose is like, "Oh, okay, you guys can."
Yeah. All
You
right,
guys can go F off.
Kev.
Do you really want Ambrose to turn heel again after that last disaster?
No,
I know
I really don't.
But the rumor is he's out the door anyway, so...
Honestly,
And then another rumor saying
I'd
that
be...
he isn't, so I don't know where they're going with that.
He's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
Here's Brock Lesnar.
It's Schrodinger's Dean Ambrose. He's both leaving and staying at the same time.
Dean Ambrose leaves,
What?
and Dean Ambrose leaves, and John Moxley comes
Yeah.
out.
Well, Dave Meltzer is saying that Ambrose is leaving, so that means Ambrose is going to
No,
stay.
that wasn't.
It's
That
gospel.
wasn't Dave. That wasn't Dave. That was actually his partner Brian Alvarez. I'm gonna go with the Shield because it would honestly be kind of stupid for them to reunite for the umpteenth time only for them to lose.
Okay, Matt.
I gotta go on the same idea as Kev and go with the Shield, because it's... If you're gonna have them lose, why even, like you guys have said, why even have them reunite? Just have them be their own thing, whatever. Shield.
Alrighty. Next up we go, and I think this might be possibly the more difficult matchup to predict. We've got Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. Stipulation is if Becky wins, she gets added to the Raw Women's title match at WrestleMania. Now, I've heard two different things that could happen. I've heard that, one, Becky could end up winning. Or two, Ronda Rousey could get involved, cause a double DQ, and then Becky Lynch, like later on down the road, gets added in or something. But not necessarily on Sunday night. So with that in mind, Kyle, what do you got?
I'm going to say Becky wins.
I have an interesting theory.
Well, you're up next, so you can give us this interesting theory.
I say Charlotte wins, but because... No, I lied. I say Becky wins. Sorry, that's what I meant. I was getting confused in my head. Becky wins, but she wins by disqualification because Ronda comes out and beats the crap out of her again.
Okay. I can see this matchup going one of three different ways.
I can see the match going one of 7 different ways.
Really?
No, I really
Go
can't.
off.
I really can't. I was just...
Hornswoggle appears from out from under the ring and interferes.
Chase is Zelina Vega again.
Batista drags Ric Flair down the ramp, puts him in the ring. Charlotte is flabbergasted, and then Becky Lynch, with the distraction, wins.
And Hornswoggle gets his ass kicked by Aleister Black. They're gonna chase Selena Vega again.
Yeah, we'll see Hornswoggle on the pre-show.
Randy Orton
Just-
RKO's them on it for some reason.
Randy Orton RKO's AJ Styles because for some reason
Becky
that's
Lynch
happening.
goes to hit Charlotte with a crutch, and Randy Orton RKO's the crutch.
Well, I mean, I heard they could wrestle broomsticks and still look pretty good. So.
That's true. Triple H tried to that one night.
Oh yeah, the one night everybody walked out.
Yep.
We're gonna give the crowd what they want. If I have to sit here and wrestle a broomstick for 3 hours, I will.
We need to stop. We're gonna give the creative team so many ideas.
Hey,
I know.
as long as we get paid for it, I'm down with that.
Next
Anyway.
week on Monday night. Next week on Monday Night Raw, Triple H brings out a broom just so he can demonstrate what he's gonna do to Batista.
He's gonna come out and then he's gonna be dressed like Enzo Amore. Bada boom, gonna wrestle with a broom. How you doing?
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'm going with Becky Lynch to win the matchup. Kev, speaking of nonsense, Kev.
You too. Me too, thanks. Yeah, Becky Lynch. I think it's the obvious choice here.
Becky Lynch. That's what I heard her say. Becky Lynch.
That's how she said
Becky
her
Lynch.
name when she was the leprechaun down in NXT.
My name is Becky Lynch.
Becky
Lunch.
Becky Lynch.
Becky Lynch.
Bucket lunch.
Becky.
Matt, what do
$5
you got?
Philip. Only I can see.
Bulky lunch. Anyway, Matt. I think we killed Matt.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with Becky, but what was with Stephanie's "if she loses, she's gone" comment? Did anybody?
She's gone.
Meaning
Here, clarify.
she's out of the title picture.
Okay, so like I was thinking like gone.
Nah, if she was gone and got fired, she'd only return the week after on an ATV.
I mean, full circle, fucking Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I mean, have you seen how many similarities there have been? Her getting arrested and escorted out of the building, that was a Stone Cold scene.
I'm just waiting for Becky to drive out one episode of either Raw or SmackDown in a beer truck and
Just
spray everybody
spray everybody with Guinness.
I can't wait for her to come out and just put the whole McMahon family in an armbar.
Oh god. Even Vince.
Even yes.
It's so surprising to see Vince
Especially
being more
Vince.
active. Everybody except Triple H, because Triple H has been the only one that's been on our side.
Yeah. Alright, so the final matchup is the WWE Championship matchup, Daniel Bryan versus Kevin Owens. Kyle, who you got?
This should be a good match, but I say Daniel Bryan gets it somehow. He walks out of there still the champion. I don't see any reason to take the belt off of him before WrestleMania. So.
Okay, Michael.
It's gonna be Daniel Bryan because they're gonna set up Bryan versus Kofi Kingston at WrestleMania.
Coffee Kingston?
Coffee Kingston.
Coffee Kingston.
Coffee Kingston.
I didn't know they like coffee.
It's a Jamaican brew.
Well, I mean, think about it. He used to be CM Punk's road wife.
What?
Yeah, CM Punk and
know
Kofi
what.
Kingston. CM Punk let Kofi Kingston travel with him in his bus.
Oh.
So he was Kofi Kingston. So Kofi Kingston was CM Punk's road wife.
That's interesting. Okay, anyway,
Okay. Anyway,
How did AJ
I don't
Lee
even
feel
know
about
what to think anymore.
Okay, here's the thing that I'm interested in. They bring Kevin Owens into the picture.
He was supposed, honestly, hold on, and to quote about this, it was supposed to be Kevin Owens coming into the picture after Fastlane, but they switched it because they're gonna go with Kofi against Daniel at WrestleMania.
Okay.
Because Kofi's so over now.
Well, here's my thinking though. I could honestly see this being a fatal four-way matchup at WrestleMania. I can see this
Mustafa
being
Ali.
Daniel Bryan, Mustafa Ali, Kofi Kingston, and Kevin Owens.
I'd
Because-
say that, but there's an upcoming date in May where WWE is going back to Saudi Arabia, and Daniel Bryan, like last time,
Fuck that.
doesn't want to go there. So the rumor has it that they were going to put the belt on Mustafa Ali for just so he can go do the Saudi Arabia thing, and then he was going to drop it back to Bryan.
It
That's what I heard.
It makes sense. But honestly, I see this as a possible fatal four-way, because I think that with Mustafa Ali getting involved on SmackDown in the matchup with Owens and Bryan, and of course Kofi Kingston, I think, going to be inserted in there as well. I'm gonna go with Kevin Owens winning the matchup. Daniel Bryan will retain the title via DQ. Rowan will probably get involved or something. And so this will give Mustafa Ali, Kevin Owens, and Kofi Kingston really some reasons to actually make it be a fatal four-way matchup for the championship. So I'm going to go with Kevin Owens winning via DQ. Kev.
And we killed Kev.
Okay, if we killed Kev, then Kyle, you can say what you were going to say.
Hey, I'm not dead yet.
Well, we saw after SmackDown. Well, not I can say after SmackDown. At the end of SmackDown, Mustafa Ali ran out to, I guess, to help Kevin Owens. So could we possibly see him getting involved in the match somehow?
Maybe. Maybe he'll come out along ringside for Kevin Owens. All right, Kev, who you got?
Yeah, kind of to keep Rowan in check.
Daniel Bryan. I think it's reasonably obvious that he's going to win. Or at least maintain, but...
Alright, Matt.
Kev, stop taking my picks. Also, obviously, I'm going with Daniel Bryan.
Alrighty.
No, you, Matt. No.
So that's it. That's our picks for this upcoming weekend's
Good
Fastlane.
night.
Fastlane, baby.
Okay, good night.
You're a good night.
Most random y.W.c predictions I've been part
Wow,
of
Seth,
ever?
don't ever say that to me again. I'm a good knight. Jesus Christ, man.
You are a good
What
knight.
kind of-
You're very
what kind of knight are you
chivalrous.
talking?
You're very chivalrous. You're always jousting for the maiden's hands, and you go broke apparently every time you take a fair maiden out on a date. Anyway.
An unexpected one.
Wow.
Yeah, the next time you buy $86 worth of clothes, save some to buy yourself a new suit of armor. Anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in to our y.W.c predictions. Next up, we'll be predicting for WrestleMania, the smallest show in wrestling history. But you'll be able to check on Facebook, see who ended up winning and or retaining championships for the y.W.c championship titles, and that'll be on Monday. And until then, until we have our predictions for WrestleMania in April, Kev is...
Actually, our picks for will it be in April? Yeah, it will be. The first Wednesday of April.
I mean, I'm
be in
making
April.
my picks in April. I don't know when you're making your picks. You can make them in June if you want.
If you make them in
A little
June
late
and
on
you're
that one.
wrong, that's really sad.
That is really sad.
Yeah. Even
Okay,
getting one
thank
of
you.
them
Good
wrong
night.
in June would be
But anyway, that's
awful.
it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you guys at some other point. I'm still
Okay, bye.
talking. I don't know why. I probably should end this recording now, shouldn't I?
Yep, bye.
Fuck
I'm still
cancer.
recording. Hi. Kyle, tell us about your childhood.
Random set. What?
No, you don't want to know about that.
User was moved out of your...